To say that it's been a long road is a bit of an understatement, but Demon Slayer, Kimetsunoyaiba, that one show that's just hit in 2019 and just kept on expanding. Quick sidetrack or flow. Back when this show came out, all I really knew about anime was that there was certain studios, Bones, Trigger, Wit, Madhouse, people that knew their stuff, people that actually had that sauce to create Full Metal Alchemist, to create things like Bleach, things like, well, Naruto in its time, certain shows that pushed things forward, the medium, right? We would watch either on a week-to-week basis or we would marathon certain shows because back then with the science and the technology and the animation and digital art becoming more and more of a thing, we're starting to see this new form of animation take place. A digital animation art, right? While some people were disgusted by it and they created Berserk 2018, whatever it was called, Demon Slayer and Ufotable had always been trying to work these new technologies and make them the spectacles that we come to expect. Before Demon Slayer, all I really knew about Ufotable was that they were out there animating one of the best shows I had ever seen. And that was Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. The colors, the art, the shine, the explosions, right? The action, the smoothness, everything about that show told me things that I may not have been ready to understand, but I knew from the minute I was able to see those animations and those fight scenes that these people really had art. They had something to develop, right? And maybe it makes sense nowadays to look at all this stuff, why Sony has become more and more of a conglomerate, why Sony is so focused on creating revenue to pay for these productions, right? Anime isn't cheap. That's something that is simple to state. But when you see just how far animation can actually go, it's hard to justify what we've been doing in these past couple of years. Because not only is Demon Slayer one of the smoothest, right? The nicest, sharpest, most colorful on an IMAX screen films that have seen to date. But damn, that 3D animation, that fluidity, those fight scenes, even just moments of full scope and scale where you have characters just trying to get from point A to point B, but in the span of point A to point B, you got flips, spins, trips, all this stuff to make it look like not only is this place spacious, it's an infinity castle, but the way they give it their characters their own ways of navigating or just having them express themselves through simple movement, man, dude. I don't know how much it took to create all of this. I don't know how if this is gonna become the new norm. If you think about how big the Avengers got, you know, how big Marvel got, how big things ended up started growing to that, how big these budgets became to just make these movies. That's not necessarily where I want this to go. This is easily one of the biggest events, period. If I could compare this to something, it would be more like Attack on Titan final season, but where Attack on Titan really dropped the ball by putting breaks and breaks and breaks, Demon Slayer has taken that mantle of releasing releases and then continuing the animation. However, for this one, since we are seeing a huge upscaling in quality, I would assume, I believe the word on the street is that we will be actually getting 3 feature-length films to finish off the series. What does that mean? We got 13 Hashira, maybe. Can't count. And we see most of the Hashira do things, right, that kind of keeps the energy going, keeps the momentum going. There is still one-on-ones that need to happen in here. The one-on-ones that we've got to see so far are very heavily portrayed in the trailer. You can pretty much expect to fight who you see in that trailer. I don't think Crunchyroll and Ufotable is being shy about telling you who the main baddies are in this section, but certain moments and certain solutions, I believe, is something that will throw a couple of people. I'm not gonna throw any spoilers out there because I don't want to be that guy. That's not what I'm here for. But there's certain moments in the movie that I didn't really expect coming. You kind of have this whole shtick of like, you're building up these characters, you're building up this team to be like this ultimate squad of like demon hunters. But obviously, if this is the final bout, if this is the last round, then it'd be very illogical to assume that everybody comes out unscathed. So that's as far as I'll leave that one there. Regardless, I'm gonna say something interesting. This was a Crunchyroll sponsored event. Like, in terms of like, if you have a Crunchyroll premium, you were allowed to buy a ticket to go into the theater to watch this like 2 days ahead of time, because the actual release date is tomorrow. So if you have time, go check it out tomorrow. But yesterday they gave us the chance to watch that, and while that movie theater was filled, real talk, the energy wasn't quite there. And that's strange, because coming from one of the biggest like animes period, something that has been like building up to certain moments, how we're getting there, I kind of expected a lot more fanfare from the fans. And whether that's me, like, used to being the asshole in the room, being like, ah, no, that's not you. That's not always me. But obviously, like, that was probably it. You know, there's a part of me that always wants to like make things fun for people and be like, yo, whoa. And while that can be fun, obviously, there's a line of like, yo, dog, I paid up the ass to get into this theater. Why you gotta ruin the experience? So maybe there was that feeling right there. I don't necessarily know how to feel about this whole Crunchyroll exclusivity, like 2-day extra screening. But if I could really, like, if I had the choice between watching this early and watching this at a decent time frame or a normal time frame with my friends and close allies or whatever, I'd probably go with the latter, just because it feels like there'd be something more camaraderie, I guess. In short, I do feel like this is a something that you want to watch with a group. And Demon Slayer has always been like that. I think that's kind of one of the appealing sides of Demon Slayer, is that since the whole shtick is that we got a team that needs to fight against the vampires, Michael Jackson and his vampires, his thriller people, we've always had the opportunity to like make friends in this show, in this series, whether it be the movie, whether it be in the show, meeting new people and inspiring them to you know, put in the good fight has always been a staple of this series. So we now get to a point where we no longer are meeting people. We have everybody that we have, and now we gotta go do the job. And that opens things to be a bit more team focused, crowd focused, but at the same time, it's going from that beginning base of like, hey, here's that person that we just met or we met years ago, and now we're getting to the end goal of like, oh, there's that person that can use these abilities, that can move this fast, that knows how to fight in this certain way, and we'll see if they can make it out of this one alive. So, very cool stuff. There's seriously some of the best like animation art direction in like certain scenes, right? Some of the art direction in this is incredible. They'll show you just open landscapes, and it will show like the two main characters just like floating in midair, and it looks cool, man. It looks so fresh. I heard one guy in the corner clapping, and I wanted to clap with him too because it was just that fresh, that so good. I believe that we're in an interesting spot with these anime movies, especially with the idea of adapting them for movies every 2 years, because then that becomes very Hollywood. And what happens in that Hollywood is the idea that like I lost my train. These things have learned, right? Demon Slayer has been in our universe since 2019 in anime form. And since that point, we've been through Avengers Endgame. We've seen the DCEU appear and disappear. We've seen multiple versions of superheroes be presented in medium. And when that opening scene hits of Demon Slayer, of the movie, it straight up feels like the opening of Avengers 2, where you got each hero just stepping in, doing something cool, and then you're switching cameras to another character. Which again is why I say that Sony, obviously the people who have been funneling money to produce all this, have learned a trick or two, right? When it comes to actually presenting teams, when it comes to having scenarios, when it comes to making these characters feel epic, they've learned a thing or two. Now let's see if it actually applies to their Spider-Man movies. So we'll see where we go from there. But regardless, these are $25 a pop. And I saw some chick walking out with all 5 of them. So shout out to her and the popcorn bucket. But yes, what will this do for the future? Hello, is anybody gonna stay? I don't know. Have you read the manga? Be nice. And so like, we'll see, man. Just, you put these characters, you think like, okay, we know what they can do. We know how far they've gone. And all we know is that they've been training their butts off up until this moment. So is that enough? Is that what it takes? Do they got what they got? Damn, is a good animation. And yeah, we're going from one fight to the next, to the next. We'll get a little bit of backstory for all your villains to make sure we understand both sides of the coin, and we go from there. And yeah, man, obviously we're not done. We've just mentioned that there might be a trilogy in the works, and I highly believe that. I could see them making that dough after this show. But if it is what we're doing, if that's what we're gonna start doing from now on, you know, we have Crunchyroll, who's obviously in charge of producing said anime movies. We have Sony, who is the owners of Crunchyroll, and obviously Sony Pictures Release International. There you go. And we have these companies that are all starting to really reflect each other, right? A superhero movie and an anime film are not so different anymore. And that became very apparent once I started watching the samurai movies. But when you boil it down, if K-pop Demon Hunters can hit such numbers, almost numbers as big as bigger than an Avengers film, Why make more superhero movies? Akira. And I won't get tired of saying that. But yes, with the emotional beats that you'd expect and with the curveballs that you wouldn't expect from certain antagonistic forces, this was a blast. This was super cool. It was damn good to watch on an IMAX screen. I will definitely go try to watch it one more time at minimum. I'm gonna try to get the Tanjiro Cup, even though they freaking sold out on the limited release viewing. Do you understand what I'm saying? People had to buy up the ass to get these tickets early, and they still sold out. We're screwed. We're all screwed. But if you're curious, if you're excited, definitely go check out Ufotable, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle. It's crazy, man. I don't believe it. I can't believe it sometimes. I think about like how my mind was blown with that Archer versus Shiro scene in part 2 of Unlimited Blade Works, and I thought we hit the max. We thought we hit the echelon of anime, and at that moment we probably did, right? I had not seen anything as close to as gorgeous and beautiful and as amazing as that Fate Unlimited Blade Works anime had been at that time. But then to see all of that be transferred into samurai katanas and swordplay and just abilities and just everything that has come since those days, it still blows my mind. It's like not believing in that a kid can grow up that fast, because they grow up that fast. But Lord, it's been 6 years since 6 years? 6 years. 6 years since the release of Demon Slayer. And 6 years. April 6, 2019, episode 1. And where we go, what we see, part 2, part 3. This is gonna be interesting. Again, we're slowly leaving behind the anime model, and while we're used to having movies be like those spin-offs, or my first memory ever being watching Pokemon the movie in a movie theater and having two dudes in a Pikachu and Charizard suit Poke battle in front of the movie screen. And I don't know, again, I will never know if that was the actual movie staff, theater staff, having a funny for all the fans in there, right? Like hyping up the kids that were there to watch the Pokemon movie, or if it was just two dudes in costume that met up and were like, ah. And I feel like the latter might actually be the right answer. And for that, thank you. I will never forget those two Pokemon costumes fighting it out. And I will never know if it was on purpose or if it was just two dudes having a good time. And that is the beauty of pop culture. So, if you've been watching Demon Slayer, you've been excited. I'll be honest, I did see the movie, and it's cool. I actually liked it quite a bit. There you go, 9 out of 10. Beautiful. Angela. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm worried of Aniplex and Sony and Crunchyroll going like, well, this works. Make every anime into a movie, or every anime now has to be a movie, so we can fund the next season, so we can fund the next anime. A lot of stuff, right? We can go a lot of routes with this. Recently, we were talking about how Zenless Zone Zero is starting to become more and more monetary, and that's just to show that anything can become like oversaturated. You know, anything that gets taken advantage of can be abused, is actually. And that's my worry for this and for anime, right? It's cool now and it makes sense, and it's kind of weird that Crunchyroll is essentially selling early birds tickets, early screening tickets, or you know, yeah, 2-day early screening tickets, which is very like the video game scene, which is like, you know, you pay the premium price for the ultimate limited edition and you can play the game 2 days ahead. And like, you have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Like, did that really do anything? I'll get back to you on that one. Maybe this will do something and we'll figure it out. But it's there, it's available, it's an option. I just hope it doesn't become the new normal in terms of what these companies are expecting from anybody who actually cares about the series. Because it's nice, it's cute, it's great to see everybody out there in their like the little Hashiro's outfits, cosplays, and having fun and enjoying each other. But again, number one, it was dead quiet in that movie theater. Normally you have a little bit of anticipation and people are like more anxious, more excited to hang out or whatever. I'm not sure if it's because it was only adults in the room or X amount of things, but that's number one. I honestly do feel like in the actual release of the basic release of this movie, I do feel like there'd be a lot more synergy with the crowd. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm more excited about. So that's that. Number two, this is cool. It's a movie. It has, I imagine that it has the production value of a really, really good animated movie. And if that is what we need, or if that is what we want to present the finalized image or vision of this story that we have been telling since 2019, then yes, let's do it. And that's about it. Number three, y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. These things used to be like 12 bucks and then 25 bucks for the popcorn. Now they're 25 bucks for the cup and 25 bucks for the popcorn thingy. Y'all crazy, man. So that's where we're at. Again, all I really want is Akira live action, but a good version of Akira live action. And seeing these companies, these Japanese companies really step up and present things in a certain way and do good with their CGI, and even in the live action movies have new technology and CGI that feels almost synergetic with the movie styles that we're presenting today. That's the part that gets me excited. I like it. I like anime. I like fun pop culture moments, but it has to be worth something. It just can't be like your average like basura or whatever, because then it just loses its point. At least in my heart, it loses that vibe, that synergy, that energeticness. And again, like, I don't know if it was just that one screening, but that room was really dead, man. And if that is a product of people paying up the butt just to watch this show, then maybe we don't need that, you know? At least that's where I'm at with that. Again, any other person will pay to go in there. Any other person will pay $130 to get Doom Eternal 2 days earlier. But after going through it this time and seeing what it is, I don't think it is a necessary for me. That being said, telling me they announced a Bocchi the Rock Season 2 as a movie, I will be there day one. So it really depends. And it's Aniplex too, so like there's no saying that that's not gonna happen. Damn it! So, all in all, Demon Slayer, the movie. We've been building up to this, and if it's not the best looking anime to date, then we need to talk. I need to watch more stuff, because apparently I've been out of the game for too long. But it did it. it did it. This show is one of the few shows that actually has me like, yo, these guys are like out there, they're trying, they're growing, they're expensive AF, but it shows. It shows where the money goes, and like I respect that, man. There is the bare minimum, which is an adaptation, and there is putting your heart and your soul into the pen every time you try to. When you show that open scene of that nice, big, airy open scene of like the environment, and you know that's just quality right there, then yeah, there's reasons they have those nice spacious scenes. Because these guys put in the effort, these guys put in the work, and damn it, it looks beautiful. So, if you haven't had a chance, highly recommend it. What am I talking about? We already know you're gonna watch it. If you're an anime fan, Demon Slayer is the anime right now, and that's not because it's like hyped up per se. It's not like say Attack on Titan, where like it was word of mouth. It just kind of kept on coming through word of mouth, and while it did live up to most of it, word of mouth carried that show for more than a decade. Real talk. This show has just been back to back to back to back. Every time I get to sit down in that theater and just watch the new part of the series, it feels like we were getting somewhere. And now we are there. And this being the final steps. Okay, let's see how long it takes. But hey, hoping very much, praying for good shows, for good products, right? At the end of the day, it's a product. You either make it like worth it and like you put your passion in there, or people are gonna stop paying attention. People are gonna stop buying your product, and that is the unfortunate part. We don't want that. We don't want to lose this relationship that we have, understanding that there is effort to be put into this, and we're here for that effort because we appreciate what has been put on paper. So what does this mean for the future of anime? Hopefully positive things. Hopefully things that will help us, just keep on meeting each other at certain places, right? If I hypothetically don't have the time, or I can't make the time to sit down and watch anime anymore, forcing or having someone make a movie adaptation or a movie version or movie shortened compilation of the season that I'm supposed to catch up on is a great way to entice me to get back into the series. We talked about Jujutsu Kaisen, how that kind of made me realize that there's more to Jujutsu than just the dancing memes, and that's great, right? So let's see how this anime in the year of 2025 and beyond adapts to this new marketplace, to this new formation, and let's see how we accept that. Right? Let's see how we, the audience, sort of take it and learn how to either have more fun in a movie theater together, or we learn that movie theater goers are serious about the series and there's no room for shits and giggles. And we'll see. But hey, I like that a lot. It was pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. So I really will try to go watch it one more time. I feel like I've seen what I needed to see. I just like the idea that there's still room to grow, and even if Ufotable has done this job for years, then thankfully and hopefully they're still finding ways to have fun with it and be creative and bring new artistic intent into their creations. So very cool. I enjoy it very much, and I hope you will too. Go take a friend. I think it's better if you're with a teammate, and then you guys can be vouching for each other. But you know, if you're there, then enjoy it. Have a good time. And till then, thanks for watching. Hit that like, subscrizzle. Catch you on the next one. But until then, what was it? Let your hearts blaze. Ja. Mata ne. That's my wife singing.